Good
So you,
afternoon, family, friends, Facebook, social media. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Mr. Clayton Arline about his life. And he has a book out that's called Grew Up in the Deep South and Saved by Many Angels. So you're going to talk to him and you're going to hear his powerful and emotional story. Um, and it's going to give some of us some lessons on, you know, where you come from. It's not always how you end up.
that is real true. And you know what, families? I just need you to please, before we get into miracles, it depends on your definition of miracle. I'm gonna let you to decide. Do you think I am a miracle? Am I not a miracle? We need to understand the soil and stuff that I grew up on. Then we can go from there. You look at the root cause. When I call myself miracle, the Deep South wasn't just a place. Name that book, Grew Up in the Deep South, Saved by Many Angels. It was a it was a pressure cooker for me. It was about poverty, racism, and it's about survival skills. It wasn't the air we breathe. So I'm just saying, when I see you say a miracle, you can call it whatever, dude. When you hear the story, you decide because I'm a miracle.
And you're a survivor to me and somebody that others can look at and see the achievements and accomplishments you've made in life. But
Mm-hmm.
Clayton, let me ask you this. When you look at that environment that was a pressure cooker, that was poverty stricken, um, survival, what do you think shaped you the most?
I think what shaped me the most is me realizing what I was putting my mother through. My mother is the one that really she shaped in me, but it took a lot of lesson to get across in order for it to reach towards me. So I want to thank my mother. When you listen to this, my journey. I mean, like I grew up around slavery. I had, slaves staying right next to me and stayed close to a white lady. So, but I can honestly say this white lady also helped shape me because she taught me a lot of things about the white race. And I thank her today. She said, as a black man, you got to prove yourself as twice as any white man because of you black. And that always stayed with me. She said, there's got good and bad in all races. But there's one thing that I can say, not everybody racist, but we got people out here was born, it was inherited. So that's the kind of environment, Sheila, that I grew up in. And and when I reflect back, I look where I was at, where I'm at today. Sometimes you got to crawl before you walk. And for me, my life is is something that you might see in movies and stuff. But I'm glad to have the opportunity to share my life with a lot of people that was in the military. They don't have no idea what I went through
Never knew the shoes that everybody walk in.
with. That's true. That's true.
It sounds like you had some good. The lady was like a good mentor, or some, not maybe mentor, but somebody that gave you some lessons of life that taught you how to survive.
Well, and the thing is, though, she was a rich white lady, and I used to be quite honest with you. I used to go there and feed her horses, cows, me and my brother and them. And she had the two slaves that lived on her property, and those slaves was too afraid to speak to us, but they was nice people. But when you've been under bondage for so long, you're afraid to talk to your own people because you become think they are enemy. And I got to honestly say, I've never seen Miss Nell Lane abuse none of the prisoners. I mean, either one. One, his name was Raymond. He stayed out in a little old house, very little house, maybe one room house. And Miss Mary, she stayed in the house because she was the housekeeper. So I understood about racism growing up. I knew about Ku Klux Klan growing up. But again, sometimes you learn through trials and errors. And sometimes it ain't how you start in life, it's how you finish in life. And so I just thank my mother, God first, they shaped in my world. And I thank God, Sheila. Sometimes you, like I said, you got to leave that environment in order to find out who you really are.
But don't you think, or do you think the way you grew up and what you witnessed, and when you see slaves, a lot of people don't see slaves like that right
Mm-hmm.
next to them in their backyard or close by. Um, how did that itself, now since you got away out the barrel from that environment, would you think that still sits with you today?
Yeah, and Sheila, the reason why it sit with me today because I see a lot of it right around me. I look at how, as then again, I'm gonna go back to slavery. I'm looking at how we have been treated, but sometimes you, as being an individual, you got to identify who you are, regardless of how you was raised, under fear and all these stereotypes. But I can honestly say that my mother, I got to give it to her, she taught us how to survive. But she also taught us a lesson about racism, also, what kind of world that we live in. So, in my survival mode is being able to process that information. And my mother, she was an authoritarian type of person. Do as I say, not as I do. So I can appreciate her being the way that she were. So when you're saying, "Oh, what is all my survival mode?" Guess what? Is being able uh, to survive. Do whatever you can in order to survive. That was my mode.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can understand how people they fall into the rut. They just whatever it take them to survive. That's what they deal with.
So you've seen it all from
Mm-hmm.
more like a history standpoint of what we learned during slavery and what our ancestors went through. You lived it.
Mm-hmm.
So were you someone without direction on where you was going to go from there?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
when
no,
you're in that environment, did
well,
it decide where you needed to be at?
the environment has a lot. Like I said, it has a lot of impact. Sheila, I grew up around nothing but a lot of shooting and beating up crimes and stuff. So I was exposed to that. You know, me being I almost drowned 3 times. I've been exposed to shootouts. I was involved in shootout. So again, that was the environment that I grew up in. No matter what my mother was trying to do to teach me right from wrong, but I had to feel like I had to blend in with the groups.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when you feel that way,
Mhm.
is they become part of you. When they get in trouble, you got in trouble because you wanted to fit in. But
Mhm.
I can say this: I thank God for my mother, even though a lot of things that I did behind her back, but the thing that she knew, they was corrected on the spot. And like I said, shootout, killing, uh, I've been exposed to it, and I thank God, Sheila, for my mother. If it wasn't for my mother, I would have never went in the military.
So let's talk about, in your book, you have a chapter called Boy Without a Map.
Mm-hmm.
What is that about, Clayton?
Well, I didn't. I really didn't say have guidance. I had instincts. If you understand how you react and don't react, and instinct will get you in trouble when you're young and angry. You
But
just work. Go ahead. I know you're gonna come at me.
I can't help but say it. But don't you still have that today, Clayton?
Okay, Sheila. Uh, we talk about my book. I'm not gonna get into that with you. Yeah, but I do have some of that. But I ain't gonna say I don't have as much as I had before. But I
Well,
still have a lot of it.
I say that because it's a lot of things. I know you, Clayton, so it's a lot of things people don't see about themselves that other people see,
Hmm.
and that's why I asked you to. Do you think that you had everything then, or do you feel that you were lost, and or did it feel
Yeah.
normal at the time, or
Well, Sheila, I didn't feel lost. I feel like I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I feel that the environment caused me to blend in with the environment. You know, sometimes your mother and your father can give you the very best, but when you get out there in the environment, you feel like you got to blend in. And I say to myself is that they always say sometimes a hard head makes a soft, you know what. So it took a lot of trials and error for me to realize that my mother went through a lot. Even though, check this out, she was with me twice but almost drowning. At the age of 2, almost drowning. And we went fishing down at the river. And she
We gonna
kept
talk
telling me,
about that.
you know, again, like I said, uh, you name it, exposed to killing, stabbing, and beating up. I witnessed that growing up.
But who were you trying to become then? I mean, you.
I want to be recognized. I wanted to be all my friends, them, you know, these are the bad boys. I wanted people to feel like they can always look for me for protection. But that was the environment that I grew up in. And all them boys, Sheila, I'm telling you right now, every last one of them that I hung out with, all of them is dead.
Mm,
And if it wasn't for God and my mother, I'll be at 6 feet under 2.
mm. Well,
So,
I'm glad you didn't go down there. I'm glad you got out the barrel, Clayton. Let's
mhm.
talk about your book. You know you talked about the day the water tried to take you. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, you know, when I say about they try to take me, look, but I almost drowned it 3 times. And believe me or not, it had to be God. My first time at the age of 2, we had a well in our backyard. And me and my sister was out there, you know, playing. You know, when you got company in the house, Pam said, get out here, boy, go and play. Got company in the house. Now, I can't witness today. I don't know whether my sister threw me in that well. It's still on investigation. You know what I mean?
It's still an investigation.
So I'm letting you know.
That's so
She ran in the house and told my mother, come look at Junior. My mother said, hey, get out of here, girl, go play. She said, she left, came back again. Mother, look at Junior. So eventually she got my mother's attention. Mother, look at Junior. So she pulled her skirt, pointed down in the water. That's where I kicked his ass in it right there. So um, I'm making a joke out of it. But even today, I asked my sister, did she throw me in there or what? Oh, make a long story short, my mother had some company. She yelled, please save my son. That well was deep.
mm.
So they got me out of there and looked like I was pregnant. Damn near drink up all the water.
Oh no.
But I thank God they took me to the hospital. They pumped the water out of me and said, you know, you're going to be all right. But thank God if he would have been in there, I could have been brain damaged too.
Oh
So
my.
again, Sheila, the second time, you got to understand, my mother with me the second time at the river. She told me she couldn't swim, but I hit a drop off and I was down the river, couldn't swim. And thank God from the loud of her voice,
Mm,
somebody please save my son, the guy they called Maple Beacon.
mm.
He heard the voice, he saved me. You got to understand, that was 2 times the drowning. I almost killed me and my whole family. My mother was teaching me how to drive. And all of a sudden, she yelled in my ear the first time I got on the wheel. She said, hit the brakes, and I hit the gas, and I totaled out the car. So again, my past and what I was exposed to, it has to be only God that got me here.
But how
So,
did that experience? Sorry, how did that experience change the way you see danger now?
well,
I mean, what is it? What does it do to you? And how do you deal with it?
I think, Sheila, if anybody's a praying person, I thank God for everything that's been happening in my life. Because as I said, I'm just only telling you a fraction about what happened to me. But for me to talk about it, and for those kids out there going through difficulties in their life, there's some survive, some don't. I had good parents. They was giving me everything I wanted to, but it was what I was doing behind their back. When my mother kept getting me out of jail, And when the last time she got me out of jail, she said this: "I'm not getting your, BAI out of jail no
Yeah.
more, because either you're going to kill somebody or somebody going to kill you." And so that's what got my attention, Sheila. And when you see your mother going through trauma, and I looked at her face, I knew it was time to go. And so therefore, when I say to you, my mother exposed me, I was walking downtown, the middle of town with a loaded shotgun. I was going to kill a man over a girlfriend downtown. And thank God my mother came and stopped me before I got to the bar. So growing up in certain environments, you become part of the environment. And
So
it just, go ahead.
it sounds like, man, we talked about it. You probably didn't see it, but your mother had a cry
Yes.
for you to get help,
Mm-hmm.
for you to leave the environment.
Yes.
Because she saw you running towards danger.
Mm-hmm.
So in your book, you talk about running towards danger.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't scared of anything. Why? Can you talk about that?
Well, when I say, running toward danger, look, sometimes you walking into danger, you don't even realize it. And so for me, it wasn't, I wasn't scared of anything. It's just that when you show the sign of scare, that means you're a little punk. That's the environment. Fear not. Don't fear nobody. So, I mean, if the dangers, that's just part of it. Being tough. You know how boys, depends on how they grew up, you got to be tough. When a young man stops valuing his own life, that's when you know dangers is running out.
So I'm glad we are talking about this subject, because right now in society, we see our youth with the same behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, that's the dangerous part.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you said your mother tried to pull you back
Mm-hmm.
when you were going through all this.
Yep.
If you could talk that version of yourself, what would you say?
Well, when my mother was talking to me, Sheila, my mother was, you got to understand, my mother had the total of 13 children. And I was the oldest son. She saw that, well, she was a mother that was trying to make things meet with 12 kids. My father, he did his best. So when you reflect back on your childhood and you say to yourself, why me? Why am I? How did God find me, make me survive? So when I look back after all the shootouts and all that thing, that could have ended my life, Sheila. And I'm gonna jump a little ahead of time. I'm gonna show you how things don't just happen; they happen just. I joined the military to get away from it. First day I came back from the military, I got in the shootout. I got off the plane at 8:30, and at 11:30, I was in a shootout. And the guy wasn't trying to kill me; it was the guy who I was with. And that same little place, we almost had a shootout. I own the place right now. So just show you there's a reason for everything. And so we talking about people's, if they know my life, most people in the military, they think he was just a cool dude. But that same guy who almost got killed quit. Both of them my friend. I goes to Vandenberg Air Force Base. No, as a matter of fact, I got home that Friday and I went and told my mother Friday afternoon what happened. She said, get out of here right now. You're not going to come back here and get yourself killed.
But you see a lot of them do that.
Right. And guess what? Everybody saw that boy got the uniform on, but my mother made me leave that Sunday. I had, they give you 10 days. So she said, please change, get out of here before you get killed.
She saved your life.
She saved my life. Funniest thing about the whole thing, Sheila, 3 months later, I contact my mother at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, Mother, I'm sorry about what happened. And guess what? That same 3 hours before I called my mother, the same guy that was shooting at each other, this time he killed him. And I'm sitting up here dreaming about it, 3 in the morning. So
oh my gosh.
I'm dreaming about what happened. And my mother, I called it three. No dormitory. They had a payphone.
Mm-hmm.
So I just called and she said, "Well, say you swear to God nobody call you." I said, "Mother, are you asleep? Do it sound like I'm asleep?" So, and she want to know that was a coincidence. He just got killed 4 hours ago.
Do
Now I'm
you
called.
believe that that was divine protection
Yep, yep. I
from,
do.
you know,
I do. I do. And I mean,
that itself, you had gone away from that environment,
mm-hmm.
experienced some of the other military environment, and then you see what's happening where you came from.
Yep.
What's going through your mind about the experience the life that you used to live?
Well, Sheila, I got to be honest with you. I mean, what's going through my mind? I'm looking at all the car wrecks, all the almost drowned 3 times. I'm looking at the shootouts. I'm looking at car wrecks, you name it, I was exposed to it. Now I can reflect back on my life and say, if it wasn't for God, where would I be? So sharing this, it is very rewarding because I can express it where other kids can understand. Is that I grew up in the worst time. I grew up in the worst times, and so my experience is helped shape me from who I am today because I've witnessed it, I experienced it, and it helped me to be a better person. You don't want to fall back into the same trap that you got out of. So now I'm able to go out there and share my experiences with young men and hope that they would have a better opportunity than I had because all the guys who I hung out with, I'm the only one here. So there's a reason why I'm here, and I can't explain it.
So your message to the youth would be what? After
Okay, my message would be to the youth. Sometimes there's a difference between hearing and listening. You need to stop hearing and start listening because the world that we live in, it requires you to listen. In the world that is happening, they only hear what you're saying. And that's as the results of hearing and listening. A lot of them hearing, that's why they're in jail. And my thing is that you better listen and learn to respect older people. You need to do a self-assessment as to who you are. You figure out who you are. And once you figure that out, now you're looking for directions for ways of improvement. So my thing is, I'm here to talk about it, but my friends are not here. So my advice to you, you need to start listening to your teacher. Learn the word respect. Learn the word dignity. Because that's what's going to get you a long way. And my word to you, become educated. Know what's going on in the world. Because the thing is, as long as you are kept in the dark, you could never move into the light. So you youth out there, you think that you're a rapper, you think you want to do this and you do that. In the long run, somebody's gonna be visiting your funeral. Somebody. If you don't straighten your back up, and shit, I'm gonna put it this way. I've never seen a bird fly with his wing clipped. I've never seen a plane fly with his wing clipped. So again, you got to straighten up and fly right. And don't let somebody out here clip your wings. Because once your wings get clipped, you can't do nothing.
but I think we're going to talk about some other chapters in your book.
Mm-hmm.
But just by hearing your story for the first few chapters, if it you lived a life that the environment that your friends who you hung out with, the life that you only knew.
Yep, that's true.
But your mother is the one who grabbed you and said, "You getting out of here. I
Yes.
can't lose my son to this environment."
Mm-hmm.
She saw where you were going and she intervened. And that's what a good mother does for her children. She knew some mothers want their kids to stay around them.
Mm-hmm.
But your mother made the sacrifice to say, my son has to get out of here. He has to go.
Yes,
I want my son to survive.
that's
So,
exactly.
yes, you do. Your mother, she saw things that you thought she did not see.
Right.
Mothers know. Mothers can feel. Mother has that feeling
Mm-hmm.
of when something's not right with her child.
That's
And she
true.
put in her gut instinct that she had to let you go.
Yep. And I thank God for her today, Sheila, because if it wasn't for my mother and God, I don't know where I would be. I wouldn't be able to be speaking to you on behalf of uh, my journey growing up. And to me, it is something that sharing with young men that I hope they don't make the mistakes that my friends have made. It's Sheila, in some instance, they kill each other.
Yeah, but you know what? I've always been told the choices you make in life,
Mm-hmm.
if you can survive them, you may be lucky.
You're right. If you can
But
survive,
you have to live by the choices you make. And you may
that's
have to
true.
suffer the consequences of it if you
That's true.
survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the choices that you made, sometimes you have to go through something to realize and look back and say, why did I do that?
That's true.
It's a bad decision on my part. That's
Mm-hmm.
when you've grown, you know, and I applaud you for, getting out of the environment.
I see. I tell you what, I thank God every day because a lot of time you got a lot of these kids that lives in an environment where that they don't know what their full potentials are. Because when you live in below your means or living in a poor environment, you're gonna always feel like you're stuck. The only way to get unstuck is to leave the environment. I found out that I was a hell of a lot better than what I were when I went to the military because the military brought the best out of me. Now, when I look at some things, sometimes things don't just happen; they happen just. We got to everything happened in your life. It was a reason for it. It might going through all the things that I went through growing up. You know what? There was a reason for it. Learned through trials and errors. But I got to say this, man. If anybody believe in God, me, because if my life is a movie, if you understand what I've been through with and how I survived, it's about why are you here? What is the reason why you're here? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? So again, thanks for taking the time. Um, so sometimes talking about it is better than just reading about it.
Can I ask you, did you believe in God back then?
Yeah, yeah, Sheila, I believe in God, but and I grew up in the church and I grew up in the Sunday school and tried to sing in the choir, but that didn't work. But anyway, but I got to be honest with you. I was going to church, but I was mostly waiting for the church to get over with because you know what? Because you go in there at 9, you might not leave right until 9 the next night. On good 5 hours
But,
later.
we grew up, a lot of us grew up going to church because
Mm,
your mom made you go to church.
yep.
And you sat there with her and you better not say a word.
If you do, you better be. You already at the church. They can bury you very easy. I mean, since you're already here, I'll give you something. We can have a funeral right now. And guess what? My mom told me one time in church, she said, "Boy, if you get up and move around again, I'll knock the black off you." And I say, "Good luck." What'd you say, boy?
Oh my God.
If
Okay,
you
let's
get if
move forward.
if you get your black, I'm going to. Woo, God, look. If you got up out of church, you're supposed to raise your hand. No, you got to ease out of this church back way, and then when they say, "Okay, we get ready to close out now," that's another hour. Anybody got anything to say? Yeah, Brother John, I like that sweet potato pie you made. Oh my God, your stomach is talking to you. but you cannot leave until you get permission. But that old way, I got to say it. A lot of those ways made me who I am because I know that growing up back during that time is about discipline,
It
especially
was. It was.
respect.
It
Respect.
was.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You all
Yeah.
this stuff. Yeah, no. No, no, that didn't work back then. What did you say, boy? Yeah. Come here. Slap you.
Take
Oh,
off your hat. My
yeah.
father, like, you take off the hat. A woman don't run to a boy blowing
Mm-hmm.
his car horn.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of discipline. Now let's talk about. I think you went Aviano. All right,
yeah.
you might have been home when you wrecked cars and.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, Sheila, I had a lot of car wrecks before I went to the military, but you can believe the one that happened in Italy. I mean, that was just one of the worst ones.
Everybody heard about that one. It was terrible.
I mean, it was one of the wrecks that if you saw the car, you said, "Who?" I know ain't nobody surviving that car. You had the two headlights, the engine was thrown out of the car, and there was no steering wheel or steering wheel. I
I didn't see
mean,
the car.
but it was and they put it on the side of the highway to let people know it was right before the Christmas time.
Oh, they use it as a display. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I would have
Hey,
took a picture.
no, I know I'm gonna get off the subject. Check this out. I went to the NCO Academy, right? So I won the Commandant's Award. So they said, we want to enter a speech competition? Yep. So they only gave away 7 awards at the Academy. So I said, well, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get the speech award. You know what I gave the speech on?
You drinking and driving, or?
Yeah. And I made it sound like it was a speech, but I was talking about my whole life. Sometimes when you're sitting in the NCO club and you walk around here, everybody say, hey, man, one more for the road. One more for the road. And you keep thinking it, one more for the road. And nobody asks you, say, well, how is he going to get home? And everybody sitting up there laughing at you, slurring at the voice. They say, that boy drunk. But nobody took the responsibility.
That's what they did back then. I mean, the club was a place where
you're right.
People didn't go home after work. And we had commanders called there and they would serve drinks.
Called happy hour.
Yeah, happy hour. Club night.
Mm-hmm. And so I know that wreck really woke me up. When you're down in the woods all by your own, and but one thing that saved me, she was that little headlight. You know, little headlights in the top of the car. I don't know how that light was on, but that wire went to
inside the car.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what the young lady saw?
That's what she saw the light. Now, thank God that little light saved my life because I was bleeding to death. Mm. And then they medevac me to Germany because they didn't have the doctors there to perform that particular type of surgery. So when I say car wrecks is something that I'm used to. And I just thank God. Sometimes people get into a little fender bender, they're not here. But I've been into multiple car wrecks. And I said, look like to me, them cars be looking for me.
But you had a really nice car. If you had one of them little Italian cars, you probably wouldn't have survived.
Oh no. But that car I had a wreck in, that was a little Fiat.
I thought you had the Pontiac.
Oh, I had the Pontiac, but that wasn't the one that I told him.
Oh, because you had the black. I remember you having the black Pontiac.
Yeah, the black Pontiac. But no, this is the one that was came out of Germany.
Oh, okay.
But again, like I said, it's a lesson learned. And when I said to you, Sheila, if God is for you, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. And then when they keep saying to you, say, hey man, God always protect fools. Well, if you want to call me a fool, go ahead.
Okay,
because I'm here because of God.
Mm-hmm. And I think all the things that you talked about that's happened to your life, it can't nothing be but God. You know, because like you say, all your friends are gone, and you're still standing.
Yeah.
So you're standing here for a purpose.
That's what I believe, Sheila. I believe there's a reason for the season.
So let's talk about one of the chapters about when the jail cell became a classroom. Clayton, what's that about?
Well,
Jailbird. Oh my
that's it. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Them damn jail cells was cold, girl. I ain't gonna lie to you. You couldn't sleep. You got to walk around, look at the walls, and saying, "Lord, please rescue me." But the lesson was warm. Even though them damn jail cell was cold, and you ain't got nowhere to sit down at, you got to stand up, and ain't no telling who's gonna rescue you. If you've got something to do with Sarah, let him stay in there for a while. Let him learn something. I get him out when I feel like it.
I think that was the best decision.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the older man spoke life into me, but guess what? God whispered direction in my ear. So that's the key. Sometimes God could talk to you, but you need to learn to listen. Sometimes God will send you a message, you ignore that message, and you say, where did I get that message from? It is something that's going to protect you and that you can carry around. But when you ignore them, just like I say, men gonna speak a lot of BS, as you call it, BS into your heart, but God gonna speak direction.
I think maybe that might have been the first time you slowed down enough to hear God.
Yeah, that's exactly that is real talk. You got something bad got to happen to you in order for you to wake up. Something bad had to happen in my life in order for me to wake up and realize that there is a God that's watching over you. And you need to thank him for every day of your life, because he could have took you out of here, boy. So don't walk around here with your pom-pom dresses on saying that I saved myself. No. If it wasn't for God and that wreck you was in, you wouldn't be here.
So they have angels in disguise.
Exactly.
Let me hear you talk about the angels in disguise.
But see, you got those angels walking around here as agents. They flies around you. You don't even know they're around you. They call secret agent. They're watching over you, but you don't know it. So that's where I put my faith, hope, and trust in God. I would never be perfect. You would never be. But at least as you thank God for all the things he done for you and thank him for saving your life, to me, that's priceless.
Yes. Who was the first angel you recognized in your life?
Who was the first angel I recognized in my life? Well, I got to say, my mother, God. And let me go. That's a real loaded question. Who the angels in my life? We talking about past tense or present tense?
It could be past.
Okay, I got to say, angels in my life, I would think that my mother, I would think my sister, most importantly, God, Jesus. I have to, because if it wasn't for him, we all couldn't survive. That's where I get my strength from every day. I speak of him.
Do you think we all have angels assigned to us?
Yes. Because the reason why I say that, and I'm going, girl, I don't know why you get me started, but guess what? Now that I'm on it, I am on it. You got angels around you, girl. You got angels that talking to you right now. You got angels that causing you to go to sleep. You got angels that wake you up. Angels that protect you. But guess what? God will never leave you nor forsake you, because he got the angels flying around to make sure that all your physiological, psychological needs are met. When people saying angels, is that, well, an angel, I need some money. Angels gonna only give you guidance, gonna give you protection, and give you faith, hope, and trust that whatever God say that will happen is going to happen. But you got to believe what he say.
Do you think they show up right when you need them the most?
I am a witness to that. That little girl that saved my life, that was an angel. When I'm down in that wood, that girl that spotted my car way down in the woods, and believe me, it's angel. When I was in shootout, it could have been me that protected me. When I was drowning, that was angels. I don't care how people look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Those was God agents that he protected me. Because
Mm-hmm.
if those angels would not have been around me, that if that angel did not hear God's voice, hearing me, from my mother from a distance, somebody please save my son. God sent that angel to say he was the first one to arrive, and he's the first one that saved my life.
So that was a turning point in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the moment that broke you open?
Well, I realized survival wasn't just luck; it was just that was just an assignment. So when we're saying the difference between assignment and survival, we got to stop and process that. And so, like I said, it wasn't luck; it was just a assignment from God.
Do you feel
Thing, go ahead.
do you feel that the military, sometimes when you get out of this environment you're in, I notice for myself, it makes you reflect on what you've been through,
Yes, yes.
blessed you are to make the decision you did to move forward with your life and change
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Did you think it was something that you had to force yourself when you first went into the military? I know you went in the military on your birthday, right? And you didn't want,
Yes.
your mother
Mm-hmm.
made you, something. You tried to get out of it and
Yep.
found out about it. But do you feel you were ready for that change when your mother, you heard your mother's cry?
Well, Sheila, I know that I had to make a change because I've heard a lot about the military and their discipline. Well, once you join, you belongs to me, boy. You know, you set your head down and I slap. I do whatever I want to you. So I know I know what the military is all about. So I had to get in there. Either you do or you don't. And from the first day, that discipline came in, but joy came in after I finished basic training. Because if you can go through basic training, you should be able to deal with anything. Because they're gonna put you through your attitude, how much you can take. So me going in the military changed my whole life, Sheila. And again, I've learned. I left the environment. I made my mother real proud of me. But I can say this: when God is for you, ain't nothing gonna happen. You can believe that or not. Because myself, if it wasn't for the military, I don't know. I just got to be honest with you. I think I'd be with my friends then. It's
So,
the environment
mhm. So
that
you
can hold you.
recognize that, and some people don't want to recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
So what you did to, what it sounds like to me, you became the man that the boy needed.
Exactly. You couldn't say it in a better way. I mean, that was right on. That was right on point.
You became the man that the boy needed.
Yeah.
You stepped up. You leveled up.
Yeah.
What they call it. You leveled up. Even
Mm-hmm.
though you were young, you knew what you needed. You needed structure and discipline. Because
Exactly.
sometimes our parents, they always hard on us, and we they say one thing, oh, there you go again. But when you left, you look back in, you say, wow, I really needed this to stay focused and to do something with my life.
Yeah.
So that was a transformation, because I know military is a transformation for a lot of people. It was for me. What was the hardest part of that from where you came from? And you were a military police at that. After all you went through, I mean, I think that's something.
Yeah.
All you went through, been in prison and guns, you end up being a cop.
Look,
So
see, it is so funny what you just said. When I went through basic training, I finished basic training. So to get your assignment, prepare to basic training, and it's a military police. So I went through the ACR school, went to the military training school, and I came back home. That's where the journey began at. And my mother and them, how they give everybody bald head. Look at that bald head rascal. You see, my mother said, "Hey, boy, what you gonna be doing in the military?" I said, "I'm gonna be a police." She said, "Oh my God, is the military hard?" No, I remember what she told me. The military, all the shit being into, they making you account. They must be hard.
That must have been your assignment.
That must. But again, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what they made me. My mother just wanted me to get out of this environment.
It's a coincidence that happened for a reason.
You know what? That
Because
did.
it's two sides to it.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing when you were younger?
Stealing, lying, cheating.
And then you did all that and became a cop.
Right.
To enforce people from not doing that.
Right.
What you did. So that is a God assignment.
You're right.
Because you were in the grit and grind and doing everything what everybody else was doing that wasn't right.
Right.
And God said, I'm taking them out of this and letting him see the other side to reflect
right
on
where I'm at
now, where I came from and what I did to get where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. And just like I said, Sheila, I'm gonna be honest with you. My life is something that I sat back and said, wow, man, you couldn't have been here. And when I talk about it and the things I've been through, and I think my mother, about places that I've been, when they read the book, I mean, I've been exposed to a lot. You know, when you think about when I was over in NKP non-conforming twice, that was quite an experience. Now you got to understand what I witnessed and what I wrote in that book. I was used to it, but I wasn't used to seeing thousands and thousands of people being killed. I wasn't used to seeing thousands of people along the border begging for their life, but I was used to being around killing. But this was a different kind of thing. So when you say there's a reason that God put you in certain place, I believe that.
I think so too, because your story is unique to me, because it's like you crossed a mountain on the other side,
right,
to protect people. And when you were growing up, your mother was the one trying to protect you,
right,
and now you were protecting somebody else,
right. And I'm gonna tell you something, Sheila. You know what that put me in mind of? You know the story about Paul in the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
How Paul went from a murder to so that kind of put me in mind of the story. Now here you done been committed every crime in the book. Now they're making you a law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there was a reason for everything.
They wanted you to reflect on what you did and how now you helping others.
Exactly. So but again, like I said, Sheila, myself and doing this, a lot of people won't have an opportunity to do this. So I had to become a man and when I was young. And so it required discipline, it required loving. But did I get a lot of that? No. But this is how you build who you are, when you can discipline yourself and while you're young. And you feel like people love you. And you feel like I can be accountable when I want to be. But I need the structure first.
Mm-hmm.
I need the direction in order to understand where I'm going. Now I want to go to Alabama, but I'm going to go through this route. No, you need to have structures on how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I believe. And for me, Sheila, I really appreciate this how to becoming a man with the boys need. The men need us. The boys need us. But we got to step up as man up, they call it. When we man up, the boys man up.
So what is your message to someone who may feel lost right now?
You're not alone. But when you say certain things to yourself, nobody love me. But remember one person, the most important person, love you regardless of who you are. Even though you may turn your back on them, but God love you. That's the most important. Two most important commandment. Number one, you love thy God with all thy heart. Number two, love thy neighbor as well as ourselves. But you got to love you. I can't love nobody else if I don't love myself. Think about who you are and who do you want to become. But through faith, hope, and trust, there is no limit. If you believe that God can help you, if you believe that whatever you're going through, He can fix it. So it ain't how you start in life, it's how you finish. Again, for you parents out there, charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. Raise your kids, teach your kids morals and values, because that's going to take them a long ways in life. But if you teach them nothing, they know nothing. As a result, when you don't know nothing, you go out and look for anything you can find. So my thing is to you, be strong, understand where I came from, where I'm at today. My job is to go out there and educate and train you to be the best of the best. So therefore, you can be recognized in society when you learn morals and values. When you learn who you are as an individual, that's the first beginning of how your life would succeed or advance when you understand who you are. Don't let society dictate who you are, who you can or who you cannot be. So Sheila, I enjoyed this conversation and I really appreciate you taking the time to interview
Well,
me.
I appreciate your transparency and you sharing your story with us, because your story is an important one that I feel that a lot of people need to listen to and learn. You know, things just don't happen. They
Yep,
happen for a reason.
that's true.
The things that you've been through in life, and to be here to be able to still share your story is inspirational, Clayton.
Hmm.
A lot of people that go through things in life but they're silent. I
That's
feel
true.
that you are an inspiration to the youth, especially these young men, on how they can turn their life around. So continue to talk about your journey. And I want to thank the audience for listening. And I want Clayton to show his book that he's published. And it's an interesting book. He just briefly talked about it, but it's Grew Up in the Deep South and Saved by Many Angels. Get you a copy of this book. I read that book. I could not put it down. It is such a good book to understand what we all go through challenges in life, but it's how that we deal. We get God and we get people to help us overcome the things that we've gone through. Don't be ashamed of what you went through. You
Exactly.
change for yourself. Be the change like Clayton has been the change for himself, and continue to reach out. Everybody struggles, but let you know that you are not alone in your struggle. You can reach out. So, Clayton, thank you very much for this powerful interview. And audience, please chime in. Please look up his book. I believe it's on Amazon now,
Yes.
and it will be on a website published later on. So, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, look, it's been Sheila, it's always a pleasure, girl. I mean, for many years that we've been friends, and for us to be able to reach out, and most people don't realize we are talking for those who are unable to talk for themselves. We are getting the word out there, and we want people to know that we are for real. We're gonna only talk about true stuff. So, and again, we ask y'all to push in. Let's make this one of the largest podcasts. And again, we got other things that we're going to share to you, especially about other things that Sheila is involved into. And you know, and have you on the show, Sheila, is quite an honor. But most people don't know who you are. They could probably look at you and say, well, you know, she's look like she's educated, but they don't understand you involved into one of the large organizations. You started it. Your family started it because you want to make a difference. But
Yep,
until,
you got a
go ahead.
story. Like
Yes.
I say, everybody has a story. My story has not been easy, as you know. And one day everybody will hear about it. But yeah,
But,
you have to make the change. You have to be the change for others.
but Sheila, just before I close down, and I think this is tell them just a little bit about that, what you do for the public and what you're doing for the world. You and your sister and them about.
Well, my sister started Catch the Promise as she was going through breast cancer. She's a breast cancer survivor. My family's been through 4 generations of breast cancer, which is genetic. My mother, 2 sisters, my mother, all passed from breast cancer by the time they were in their early 40s, even 40,
Wow.
41. My sister came down with breast cancer. My niece came down with breast cancer, her daughter. I have cousins in the same boat with breast cancer in their 20s. So my sister, we wanted to break a generational curse. And while she was going through the most aggressive form of breast cancer, stage 4, she wrote a song called I Promise. And years later, after her daughter was diagnosed at 20 something, she started a nonprofit breast cancer organization.
What an amazing story. What's the name of the song?
I Promise by Lynn Young. It's on.
Please look that up. Say it again, Sheila, because I did, because I want to make sure the audience hears it.
It's called I Promise, and our organization is called Catch the Promise. Mm-hmm. So you can read about our story, but we're advocates for health. Be an advocate for your own health, eat healthy, exercise, do the right things, and give back to others. We're there to support families going through cancer and their children. So we're here to help empower other families to be advocate and to help them and to support. We can't do things by ourselves. We support each other. It takes a community. So that's what we do. I'm in the Delaware ambassador. My sister is Virginia. And Virginia, she's the founder. And my niece is an advocate in Georgia.
Wow. Right. See, this is about spreading the word, helping people. It's no different than your story than my story, but it's on a different context. Is how you are reaching out to make sure people are aware that this is a very important thing to talk about. So, but again, now for you all out there listening, how can they get hold of you, Sheila? I mean, where did they find you all at that want to be part of it?
Catch the Promise. Put it together. CatchThePromise.org. If you sign on to that, you can become a member. And you can ask us questions. We have a plethora of information and education on our website. It gives you our mission, our purpose, our services. And we have a lot of followers right now. And we have a lot of partners with hospitals, genetic counselors, City of Hope, churches. We're expanding every day. And we love to hear people's stories. Mm-hmm. And we love to educate. But we do this. We were all robbed of our mother when we were young. I didn't have a mother when I needed her most. So we do this to support each other. Mm-hmm. You know, all of us have a different journey in life, but it's what you do with that journey. Are you going to stay there and stop walking? Or are you going to continue to fight and be there, support for others? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're doing. We're supporting others. What we didn't have, we have each other.
That's powerful. But you know what, I'm gonna say this. My family, we deal with it. A lot of people don't talk about it. But again, I think that every man, we need to understand that we can't get mutation, whatever they call it. But what you're doing for that, what you're doing, Sheila, you reaching out all across. You and your sister them started an organization. That knowing that a lot of women, they don't talk about, but y'all trying to teach them how to detect this at an early age. And what I also like about your webpage is that they can go on your webpage and look for any type of cancer, and you got the information right there. So I just think, so again, thank you for sharing that. And for you all out there listening, me and Sheila, we're about real talk. Help us out. Let's build this foundation. Let's get the word out. And I know with you and I and all us around working together, staying together, praying together, we're going to make this a success. But until next time, may God bless you. Don't forget, keep praying to God, asking for strength. May God bless you and your family. Until next time, adios.